Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Food Talk with Chef Josh. I am your host, Chef Josh. So today we are coming into episode 3, and I did a poll for you guys last week when we first started out. It was to do with what would you like the season's part of what do you want to learn how to cook. And we didn't do too terribly bad in the polls. I had exactly one poll vote, so we're going to go with it. We're going to do budget foods. Guys, it is so handy to do budget foods when you want to save money on food. I am actually a very big budget saver when it comes to my food. If someone gives me food, like for instance, I just had a neighbor who gave me 2 bags of apples, guys. What can you make with apples? Guys, there's so much you can make with apples. And we can get into that in a later episode, but I can tell you there's just so many different things you can do out there, like so much, from lunch meats to cheap sliced cheeses to hot dogs. Guys, it's not bad to eat this stuff. It really isn't. And you're eating on a budget. And here's the thing, if you have a garden, go pick your stuff out of the garden that you want to cook with that night. And guess what? You're saving money right there, guys. If you have to buy certain ingredients, it's okay. But if you want to do food and making it, you have to go on a budget. And budgets are really big when America nowadays is just so expensive. Meat, if you go for a protein from beef, chicken, pork, fish, it's just so expensive nowadays that people can't afford that. So you see a lot of families that will go out and buy hot dogs or different things to save money. If you can use canned soups for certain things too, as well, as we will get into later episodes. But I can tell you this much, guys. As the intro into this episode and into the season, I highly recommend, if you want to save money, go with a budget saving program for yourself where you can save money and shop. It is totally up to you on how you do this. And you can shop within a budget. If you have a budget of $20, guys, more than likely you'll be able to come up with ideas in under $20 or close to it. So if you have bigger budgets to where, hey, I want to make a meal that's $30, okay, you can work with quite a bit. And I'm just here to show you guys or explain to you guys what you can do to get things started. Alright guys, let's get this episode started off for our first part. And we're going to talk about lunch meats. Lunch meats are pretty amazing. You can have quite a few different types of lunch meats. Let's start with so many different types of ham. You can have black forest ham, you can have honey ham, you can have smoked ham. That's part of your part right there. You can have turkey, you can have roast beef. There's so many different types just in turkey alone. But we want to go to a low setting for lunch meats. Lunch meats are particularly very cheap. You can come up with so many different kinds that you want to pick for your family to eat. And here's the cool thing. Lunch meats can go good for everything, whether it be your dinner, lunch. You can even make something for a quick breakfast. And you're going to look at me on the next part we're going to talk about, and we're talking about bologna, guys. Bologna is good for pretty much any type of meal. You have so many different dishes you can make with bologna. There's sandwiches. I have a great recipe that will be coming up in this episode later on with bologna on how to make a sandwich. That is absolutely amazing, and I have to thank my parents for this one because they got me into this when I was a child. I was not really a big, huge fan of bologna, but I have just the best sandwich to tell you about, which will go into our next section here soon. But we're going to talk about bologna just for a minute. Bologna is definitely one of your cheaper cuts of meats. You can get it in packs. I've even seen people buy full loaves of bologna and then you cut to what you like. It's one of the big parts in America, guys. If you think about it, bologna was something that they got to eat during the Great Depression, stuff like that. You got to think of different things. And if you're on a budget, bologna is definitely one of your big go-tos. You can do American sliced cheese as well. And cheeses are another big thing. You can buy cheeses on a budget. Most cheeses that I've seen go for about $2.50, but it all depends on where you're at. It could be expensive, but you're trying to buy on a budget, and if you can't have cheese, it's okay. You come up with different substitute options, guys. It's super easy. So we just got off the segment of lunch meats. We're going to continue talking about bologna. Bologna is definitely a good one, guys. My family back in the day when I was a kid would try and make bologna sandwiches fun. So if we were at home and we didn't have something particularly planned for dinner, we would do this thing where it was a fend for yourself kind of night, guys. And when I was a kid, I couldn't do any of the cooking right away because my mom was nervous, of course, with me being by the stove. They didn't want me to burn myself. But one of the big things I can tell you is coming up with an idea in your head of what you want to eat that night. It's a fend for yourself kind of night. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in, look in the fridge, and you're going to see leftovers. Well, you might not like the leftovers, so you're going to go for the next best thing. Let's do bologna. So my mom said, hey, what would you like for dinner one night? And I said, can we do a bologna sandwich? Well, she said to me, and I quote this from heart, why don't I make you a what-not sandwich? And I said, Mom, what is a what-not sandwich? Well, come to find out, guys, her father taught her how to make this what-not sandwich back when she was a kid. And how it goes, guys, is you're going to take your bread. You're going to put it in your toaster, or if you want to do a lightly toast on your bread. And I highly recommend, if you're on a budget, use white bread, or if you prefer having your whole grain or wheat bread, go for it, guys. You can use technically any bread you want. I'm just giving you suggestions, is what I'm here to tell you. But back to the story. When I was a kid, I always wanted to know, what is a what-not sandwich, guys? So you take, what we used was white bread, you put it in your toaster, let it toast. You're gonna end up doing a pretty good amount of butter because you're going to toast it, and then you're going to put your condiments from mayo, and I did ketchup, mustard, and guys, you can do anything. You can go gross if you want and do barbecue sauce. It's all in a budget for you. You don't have to follow the exact recipe to a T that I give you on here. And I would do all my condiments, and I would put my cheese on my bread after it was toasted. And what you do, guys, is you take your bologna, and this is going to be the weird part for you guys. What you're going to do is you're going to make, and I'm not joking, you're making this what-not sandwich, and you're just like, what is this going to do? You're throwing your bologna into a fry pan, guys. You're going to get it to where it's nice golden brown. If you get a little bit of black on it, it's going to be fine. I can definitely tell you it's totally worth trying this. You're going to just have a fun time making the sandwich. You're gonna want it golden brown on both sides, guys. So make sure you add a little bit of fat into your pan as you're cooking it. Do it on a medium-high heat. Don't go too hot. If it gets too hot, your bologna's gonna stick, and then you're gonna have to wash your pan and start all over again, guys. And that's no fun because you're wasting the meat that you're trying to cook. It's an idea for you guys fully to try, and some of you guys might not like it and some of you guys may. I can tell you there's just so many different ideas you can do with your lunch meat, guys. And I'm gonna tell you, another good thing you can do on a low budget, guys, for lunch meat is you're gonna try out what I'm gonna be talking in the next segment. All right, let's jump to the chase. Dips on a sandwich. Guys, I just tried something brand new yesterday. I decided to come up with a contraption yesterday just to see what it would taste like. I took 1 8-ounce packet of cream cheese. You can buy it super cheap at your local grocery stores. You can also do smoked ham lunch meat. Dice that up really thin, guys, and then get a pan ready to go. You're going to throw a little bit of olive oil into your pan. Let it warm up. Don't overheat your pan to where it's gonna burn it right away. During that process, while you're letting your pan heat up and your oil heat up, what you're gonna do is you're going to take and do shallots, guys. It's part of the onion family. Super cheap at some places that you go to. If you go to stores, they might be a little expensive if they're not into season, but guys, I can tell you this much. I did shallots and I threw in some mushrooms, guys. If you're a big fan of mushrooms like I am, throw that in, your olive oil, just toss it, let it saute that to where it's nice and has kind of like a golden tint to it, but your mushrooms are nice and flavorful. Throw in a little bit of salt if you prefer. I know there are some people out there that like doing some salt, but you're then going to throw your whole block of room temperature cream cheese into that pan. You're gonna start stirring that in. Don't do it heavily because you don't want to break like the mushrooms and the shallots. Shallots are going to break down as you're cooking them anyways, but I can tell you this much. One of my favorite things to do is make a new dish. You're going to get that to where the cream cheese is melted, and then you're going to add in the lunch meat. Throw it in after you do a nice thin cut on your meat, and do it in nice little strips, guys. If you want, you can break it by hand if you're uncomfortable on using a knife. It's okay. Just try that. And later in this season, I'm also going to talk about, for budget friendly, we're going to go into dehydration in a later episode. I don't know what episode I'm planning, but stay tuned to that. But guys, this dish was amazing. I threw in a little bit of dried parsley to it, and then to polish it off, this is going to sound strange. Instead of using lemon juice for a citrus taste, guys, I ended up doing, and I'm not joking, I dehydrated the day before a little bit of blood orange peels, turned it into a powder, and tossed it in. Guys, if you want something that has flavor, I highly recommend throw in some orange peel powder into your dishes. It's amazing and it brightens it up. I didn't even toast my bread. If you feel like toasting it after you're done cooking it up, let it sit on the stove for a little bit, and you want to eat this where it's warm, guys. It tastes way better. And I'm going to tell you something, that I put it on a piece of white bread and then put another piece of bread on top of it. No cheese, nothing, guys. The flavor was just out of this world. And you can try it with different things. If you guys want, throw a piece of chicken in the pan after you're done cooking. Take that out. What you do, guys, is put that as a spread on your bread, toast it up, throw a piece of chicken down, and if you want, try some extra cheese if you're a cheese lover. I'm a cheese lover, and guys, I could tell you, there are so many different options you can have out there. It's all up to you on what you make. And like I said, when you jump into my episodes, you can learn different things. And I'm going to tell you one thing, you can make all sorts of dips. Dips are very, very, very awesome, and you can use lunch meats. The lunch meats are amazing. Guys, if you want, as a lunch meat, here's another one for you. If you've had a pickle or an onion wrap, I'm going to highly recommend, and you're going to see these at parties. This is probably one of the most inexpensive, budget-friendly meals you can also have in this one as well. You take a piece of ham, guys. You get it, the lunch meat from the store. You're going to get some cream cheese, and you're going to cut them into small sections. You're not going to throw this whole big block on, but you're going to cut them into little sections. You're going to either do pickle spears, or you could do the little, I always forget what they call them. I'm just going to call them little pickles. And, it's gherkins. They call them gherkins. I highly recommend, if you want to do something fun, throw some cream cheese on a piece of ham, roll your pickle up, you got yourself a pickle wrap you can enjoy. You can make as many of those as you want, guys. It's from lunch meat. You're doing different things that you can make for an appetizer that are super friendly, and you're spending underneath a budget. You're not trying to break the bank here, guys. You're coming up with dishes that you want and know you can make. There's so many different dishes you can make with lunch meat. I can tell you more into the next segment. Let's talk sliders. Sliders are amazing. I can tell you can get them at some of your fast food joints that you go to in town. And we're not going to name names of where they're at, but you could have one located in your hometown, guys. And they want to charge you $5 for 3 sliders. 3 sliders, guys. That's ridiculous. Why not make your own sliders at home? All you're gonna need is the rolls like you would get at a Thanksgiving dinner, to where it's the square roll. I don't know the exact term for it. You can even do Hawaiian rolls if you want, if you like a little bit of sweetness to your rolls. You can cut it, throw a little bit of the sauce we talked about on the previous segment, throw that on there, guys. Add some cheese and your favorite lunch meat. Oh my goodness. Guys, there's so many different lunch meats out there too. You can make charcuterie boards even out of them. But the sliders, holy cow. It's a great option if you want to eat light for the night for a dinner. You can eat it during lunch. You can eat it, even make something to where it's an egg slider. If you wanted to do just like a little egg slider, guys, I highly recommend trying it out. There's so many different options you can do, and especially with you being on a budget, the lunch meat can be part of your sandwich where you're having the egg and you're gonna have ham. It's like you're gonna be going to a fast food joint, but at a lower cost. You're not going to be paying almost $10 for an egg sandwich, and you're not going to be paying that much, guys. You're pretty much going to be making everything. I would say if you had to put it all together, it would cost you less to make that than going to a fast food joint, if that makes sense. Sliders are a great option for you. And it's a nice, easy way for the kids to enjoy if they want to eat something and then go out and play, stuff like that. You have different options you can do with eating on a budget. Guys, there's just so many different things that lunch meats are amazing. You can do just absolutely anything with a lunch meat. I've seen people even, as I talked about in this segment, we talked about a little bit with charcuterie boards. Guys, charcuterie boards are amazing if you want to do this for a party as well. It's great for snacks. If you want to do some crackers that cost you $2.50 and do some lunch meat that costs you $2, you can come up with different little things. You could cut them into slices. You could do different things. You could even try making art out of it. All you need is a cutting board, meat, cheese, or anything you want to put. You can even put veggies and fruits on a platter and then say, this is my charcuterie board of different things that I have grown in the garden. It's definitely good things for you to plan ahead, and you're on a budget, guys. It's great. You're not spending a lot of money, and lunch meats are a big one to use because yes, they are sometimes not the greatest for you to eat, but if you're on a low income budget, guys, like if you're a college student, guys, there are so many different options you can do as a college student, because college students don't have the proper stuff like an oven and stuff like that. They have to go home, or I don't know if college students are allowed to bring in like the hot plates that you can buy at Walmart, stuff like that. Please, if you guys have an answer to that, please write that in the comments, and please tell me what you think. Guys, there's just so many different options you can do with lunch meats, and you can be creative. I've seen people put it into a cream cheese style crescent roll it up, and then you got like a cream cheese filled ham, and you could add a seasoning to it, guys, and you get to have crescent rolls. It's just different things you can do with lunch meats. I'm trying to help you come up with a plan, and here's the thing. You guys are the creators here. You get to do what you want. Come up with your own dish. I can tell you this much, guys. I am constantly coming up with new dishes, and I'm always trying to think outside the box. If there's something new you want to try, think outside the box, guys. There's all really cool little ideas you can do. I can highly recommend just use your mind to create what you want. And if it doesn't taste good, it doesn't taste good. You just try it. Try it again. Do something different, guys. It's all good. And you guys will get better and better as you come. That's why I've wanted to create this podcast, to help you guys. Let's get into the talk with lunch meat on how you can use it in a side. Mashed potatoes to be particular, guys. If you have a lot of Yukons or just different types of potatoes like a russet or a red skin, guys, why not go ahead and use some lunch meat with that? Throw in some cube cheese at a low cost. Guys, you could have a sweet chive and sour cream mashed potatoes if you wanted to do something similar to that. It's super cheap. It's super easy. You can get chives from your local grocery store, or if you even grow them, you can get different parts for your side dishes. You can do all sorts of things. You could do with a lunch meat if you wanted to try coming up with a new idea that you've never done before. See what comes to your mind. If you like different things to go with a budget friendly and your options are very minimum of low, guys, you could do a pack of ramen noodles, throw in some lunch meat. They make sliced chicken. You could throw in some chicken. Yeah, it might be a little weird, but spice it up with some different flavors, guys. You can do actual chicken breast if you want into it. Yes, chicken is a little expensive, But if you are in your budget to get it, grab some chicken, cook it up, put some seasonings on that chicken, and when that chicken hits your pack of ramen noodles, oh my goodness, throw in some seasonings to make it creamy. If you want, try doing different things with ramen noodles and add in some lunch meat to it, guys. Lunch meat is a lifesaver when you absolutely need something that's quick and easy. Sandwiches, yes. If you want to expand your sandwich range, instead of just having the plain old meat, cheese, and bread, spice it up a little bit. Make the dip we talked about in one of the segments on here. You can do appetizers on a sandwich. It may sound really funky, but guys, it's so many different things you can try. It doesn't hurt, and you can have fun and make memories while you're doing it. And if there's parts where you're like, okay, this isn't gonna work, then don't do it. Move on to the next goal in life. It all comes into play for you guys. It's all up to you. And I can't wait to continue making memories for you in later episodes. We're gonna go over this season, like we have talked about, budget-friendly meals. And if I go back and forth, I do apologize. I am just so excited to talk for you guys and get my voice heard out there. You guys are so amazing, and I appreciate you for listening to me. And I have a special message after this. All right, guys, that is it for this episode for Food Talk with Chef Josh. I am your host, Chef Josh. As I leave off with this, I just want to remind you guys a couple of things. I have my Facebook page, which is CJ/Chef Josh, Culinary Specialist. Please make sure to hit that follow button and that like button. And if you're also interested, please tell your family and friends about me for that. I also have TikTok. I am Chef Josh on that. If you're looking for the username, it is JRToth34. And also, if you are interested, I do have a YouTube. It is currently in the process of getting hooked up. But guys, it was great getting to tell you some different stories. I'm going to be putting a poll in this next episode. Make sure you look for it at the end of this episode and put your vote in on what you want to talk about for different budget-friendly parts from hot dogs and so forth. So make sure you're paying attention for that. And guys, I can't wait for you to join the next episode, episode 4, which I will get with you on a name, and we will have an update here soon. So stay tuned, and I can't wait to make memories with you guys.